This spelling program right here will actually last you your entire students' K through 12th grade curriculum career. Not only that, but it's engaging. There's a purpose behind each lesson. It's self-paced, and it only takes approximately 10 minutes a day. So in this video, I'm going to dive deep into the Phonic Zoo and give you a little flip through tour and my thoughts on it since we have been using it. My name is Leilani Melendez. I'm a former public and private school teacher, and I've been a homeschool mom now for 13 years. I do consultations, evaluations, and of course this YouTube channel. So check me out in the description box below, but I really want to spend some more time diving into the Phonic Zoo right now. So when you purchase the program, you are going to get the Phonic Zoo teacher notes right here, some Phonic Zoo lesson cards, and then you have these little spelling zoo cards right here. You can also have a choice between purchasing the Streaming Forever or the CDs. Either or. And those things right there will actually take the student or your kid through the course. Basically walk them, read it to them, give them the spelling test each day. So let me show you how it's kind of set up here. So you have the Phonic Zoo teacher's notes, and when you open this up, of course, you're going to start with the table of contents and then how to use the program, a quick start guide, which is super informative, and you should totally read it because it's going to help you get started. And then you're going to get into some information about spelling in general. You're going to talk about the blended sounds, how spelling is sequential, maximize frequency, you know, that kind of stuff. And then you get into the Phonic Zoo lessons. Now, don't get me wrong, you should read all this stuff in the beginning. It's actually not that long. It's fairly short, and it helps you understand a little bit more about the approach to spelling that IEW uses. Each lesson is going to span across 2 pages, just like that. And the first page, and this is actually lesson 1 that I'm sharing with you, you're going to see that it's going to talk about the AI and the AY sounds. At the very beginning, you're going to have like a little jingle right here that you're actually going to hear the streaming service or the CDs read to your child several times during the actual spelling lesson, which is actually, it's basically a spelling test. I'll explain that in a second. And then, of course, there's some information down here. Here's some sample words. So when you come over here, you have 3 sets of words. This follows along with the classical stages. So you have A for approximately elementary, B for middle, C for high school. So like I said, stages, you know that you've got the rhetoric stage right here in A, and of course, etc. You may want to go over some of these notes right here. That's actually on the back side of, actually it's on the opposite page of lesson 1 right there. And this just gives you, you know, some discussion topics, stuff like that. Okay, so back to the actual spelling test, which is read on the Streaming Forever or the CDs. So let's say you're starting with A, right? You're going to hear the words being said to them, and they are going to write those words down as they hear them on a sheet of paper with a pen. Usually when you get to the space right here, they're going to repeat the jingle, which is going to help them memorize the sounds where they belong, the spelling rules, those kind of things. And then they'll continue. Do the jingle again, continue jingle, etc. until you finish the last word. Then when they are done with the entire spelling test, they are going to go back and they are going to tell them how to spell the words. It is so important, essential, that you have your child self-check themselves when they are doing the spelling test. Super important. Not only does it build independence, but it's actually going to help them retain that information. And like I said, if you go back and read that first part of the book and the first part of the teacher notes, where it gives you a little bit about the background of learning how to spell and, you know, all of that, is going to explain why that is so important. I mean, it's really going to make a difference between doing 5 days of the lesson versus 20 days of the lesson. Basically, what the child is doing is going to be doing this every single day until they get 100 2 times in a row. Once they get 100 2 times in a row, then they will move to lesson 2. And 2 times in a row, 100%, move to lesson 3, etc., etc. So as you can see, this is very self-paced. They can get it done in 2 days, or it could take them 2 weeks to do it. And like I said, it is essential that they self-grade themselves because it can make a difference between a week versus 2 weeks. I didn't mention before, but I'm going to mention it now. At the back of the book, there is a placement test. And I did mention that A, B, and C typically follows the classical stages. But the thing is that with spelling, sometimes kids are more advanced or a little behind. So doing that placement test might actually help you place them in the right spot so they can be successful and challenged at the same time when doing their spelling test. All right, so after you're done with this, like I said, you move to spelling 2. I do want to point out that on lesson 5 and 10, every 5 lessons, basically, there is going to be a personal spelling test. And this is where you're going to find words from books that they're reading or from papers that they're writing or themes of the season or whatever really it is that your child is struggling to write. And you're going to practice those personal words. They do give you some ideas on the back section, or on the second page, I should say. The second page right here, they give you some ideas if you don't have any ideas already and it's very hard to build a personal spelling list. Now, I will also show you these lovely, wonderful things right here. This is just kind of like a nice little, like a cheat sheet. It feels like a cheat sheet, okay? But they are cards. And it's basically the same exact thing that's found in here. It's a nice little visual. You can put this on the wall. You can have the kids flip through it when they're looking at the words. But on the first page, you're going to have the pictures. You're going to have some sample words. On the back, you're going to actually have the AI and the AY and then the jingle to help memorize the rules. And then you have your 3 list right here of spelling words that you're going to be pulling from. It's literally exactly what's in the book. I do want to show you when you get to lesson 5. It's nice because you can actually write in the personal spelling words right here. So I love that because there's a purpose behind each and every lesson. There is a final exam at the very back of this. And like I said, when you get the streaming forever service or the CDs, like it's literally going to walk them through it perfectly, where you just don't have to do anything except basically monitor them. Now, I will admit that when I did it, I got really used to the pattern, and after a while, I started doing the test instead of playing the streaming service. It just became easier for us. You know, you could totally do that. Now, the last thing I want to show you are these spelling zoo cards, which are really, really cute. This is my second set. My first set, I actually laminated, and when we were going through these, I placed them strategically on the wall for them to view. There's another thing that you can do with these. Well, there's lots of things that you can do with these. If you have 2 sets, you can play matching games. But with this set right here, you know, these are brand new, you can actually hole punch them, and as they go through each of these lessons and master the lessons, you can actually give them the card to stick on their keychain, which actually, you know, you would think that kids wouldn't be really into it, but you would actually, it would surprise you how into it they are, because they feel kind of proud getting a card. They're never going to say it, especially the middle schoolers and high schoolers, that they're proud to get a card, but you know what? It's a sense of accomplishment. You're kind of gamifying it, I guess, in a sense. That's, you know, gives them motivation. The one thing, again, that I love about IEW is that it's clear, it's to the point, it's tried and true, it's classical education. It actually, you know, surprisingly, really, not surprisingly, because once you get used to using it, you see why, but they really build executive functioning skills with IEW. There's no fluff. It's just, it's amazing that way. Fix-It Grammar is great too. In fact, all of the programs are great. And if you want to check it out, I have a playlist right here that you can check out. There is a link in the description box below where you can find more information about this program. Let me know what you guys think. And until then, check out these videos and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.